Hey y'all, it's Mocha Mima. Welcome back. Y'all, the family of Henrietta Lacks is finally getting some money for how they profited off of her back in the 50s. Y'all, let me play my intro and we're going to talk about this.
Work, work, work. To me, I get work, 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 work. See me do me dirt, 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 dirt. So me for that work, 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 work. When you walk a line, 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 line. In the girl, them murder, da, 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 da. Try me, I deserve it. Nothing to be lurking. Yeah. You make a like, now you don't like it. You know I dealt with you the nicest. Nobody touched me in the right. Nobody touched me in a crisis. I believe that all of your dreams are duration. You took my heart, all my keys, and my patience. You took my heart, I'ma see for decoration. You mistaken my love, I brought for you for foundation. All that I wanted from you was to give me something that I never had, something that you never seen, something that you never been. But I wake up and nothing's wrong. Just get ready for work, 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 work. To me, I be work, work, work.
Hey y'all, it's Mocha Mima. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, extra special welcome. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Click on the bell button for the uploads. That way you know every time I send out a video or go live. Now y'all, they finally reached a settlement for the family of Henrietta Lacks. On today would have been her, what? She was born in 1920, her 102nd birthday, y'all. So, if you're not sure of the story, Henrietta Lacks was a young black woman. She was, I believe, 30. She was, what, 31 at the time. Went to Johns Hopkins Hospital for some pain she was feeling. Found out she had cervical cancer. It was like stage 4. They couldn't do anything about it. But what they did do was they took her cervical cells and they found that, um, her cells, they could replicate the cells, grow in them and reproduce them. And they named the cells HeLa cells. And those cells, well, let me tell you the rest from the AP article because I can't go off of my total memory, even though I kind of know the story. So this is according to the Associated Press. 70 years now, after doctors at Johns Hopkins Hospital took her cervical cells without her knowledge. A lawyer, which is Ben Crump's all over it again, y'all. Ben Crump. They reached a settlement with Thermo Fisher Scientific. That's one of the companies. There's still more companies that they're going to go after. Her family filed this lawsuit back in 2021. Oh, excuse me for yawning, y'all. It's late at night and I'm tired. Anyway, so they reached a settlement, and the tissue was taken from the tumor that she had in her cervical region, and it going on to enable countless scientific and medical innovations, including the development of the polio vaccine. Because I know Jonas Salk had some things he said about that. Jonas Salk, he invented the polio vaccine, genetic mapping, and even the COVID-19 vaccine. See how her cells are still being used. Despite all that stuff, the Lacks family had never been compensated. Her cells were harvested in 1951 when it was not illegal to do so without a patient's permission. But lawyers for the family argued that Thermo Fisher Scientific of Waltham, Massachusetts, continued to commercialize the results long after the origins of the HeLa cell line became well known. The company unjustly enriched itself off Lack cells, which the family argued in their lawsuit filed in 2021. Now, you already remember the lady Rebecca Skloot, I believe her name was. She wrote the book, The Immortal. Oh, no, I'm going to get it wrong. The Immortal Cells of Henrietta Lacks. It was named something like that. It was a good book. Read it if you can. Also, I also saw the movie. Mrs. Lacks was also honored by the World Health Organization. As you see in the clips that I'm showing you now, she also there's a statue of her in Bristol, England. She is known worldwide. This beautiful young woman who has given her life so that we could live, so that the world could live. Let me continue with this article. The settlement came in after closed door negotiations that lasted all day Monday inside the federal courthouse in Baltimore. Some of Mrs. Lack's grandchildren were among the family members who attended the talks. Attorney Ben Crump, who represents the family, announced the settlement late Monday and said the terms are confidential. In a joint statement, Thermo Fisher representatives and attorneys for the Lacks family said they were pleased with the matter and declined to comment further on the agreement. The agreement is it's sealed and we'll never know what it was. Now, Mrs. Lacks was a poor tobacco farmer from Southern Virginia. It says that she was, in one of the pictures, she was born in Roanoke. She got married and moved in with her husband to Turner Station, a historically black community outside Baltimore. They were raising 5 children when doctors discovered a tumor in her cervix and saved her a sample of her cancer cells collected during a biopsy. She died at age 31 in the colored ward of Johns Hopkins Hospital. She was buried in an unmarked grave. While most cell samples die shortly after being removed from the body, her cells survived and thrived in laboratories. It's that black girl magic, y'all. They became known as the first immortalized human cell line because scientists could cultivate them indefinitely, meaning researchers anywhere could reproduce studies using identical cells. The remarkable science involved in the impact on the Lack family, some of whom had chronic illnesses and no health insurance, were documented in the best-selling book by Roberta Scoot, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, which was published in 2010. Oprah Winfrey portrayed her daughter in a 20 portrayed her daughter in the HBO movie about the story. Johns Hopkins said it never sold or profited from the cell lines, but many companies have patented ways of using them. Don't blow smoke up our behind, Johns Hopkins. In their complaint, Lack's descendants argue that her treatment illustrates a much larger issue that persists today: racism inside the U.S. medical system. That is totally correct. Let me make sure I have my disclaimer. Yes, my disclaimer is on. I had to make sure, y'all. All right, let me continue. The exploitation of Henrietta Lacks represents the unfortunately common struggle experienced by Black people throughout history, the complaint reads. In a brief filed in support of the Lacks family, attorneys advocating for civil rights, women's rights, and healthcare equity said the case is one of many in which the U.S. doctors and scientists have exploited minority patients. Another example they cited involved James Merriam Sims, a 19th century Alabama surgeon heralded as the father of modern gynecology, who performed experimental surgeries on a dozen enslaved women without the use of anesthesia, claiming Black people could endure more pain than white people. Indeed, a great portion of early medical research is founded upon non-consensual experimentation upon systemically oppressed people, the attorneys wrote. In another supporting brief, Southern University law professor Deliso Alford highlighted the discrepancy in status and financial stability between Lack's descendants, including grandson Ron Lacks, who wrote a book in 2020, and the medical professionals profiting off her cells. In the same year, Mr. Lacks was self-publishing a book in the hopes of finding someone to help his family. The CEO of Thermo Fisher received a compensation package of over $26 million, the brief says. Thermo Fisher argued the case should be dismissed because it was filed after the statute of limitations expired. But lawyers for the Lacks family said it shouldn't apply because the company is continuously benefiting. In a statement posted online, Johns Hopkins medicine officials said they reviewed all the interactions with Lacks and her family after the publication of Scoot's book. While acknowledging an ethical responsibility, the state said that the medical system has never profited from discovery or distribution of the HeLa cells and does not own the rights to the HeLa cell line. Although her relatives haven't received financial compensation, they reached an agreement with the National Institutes of Health in 2013 that gave them some control over how the DNA code from the HeLa cells is used. Crump, a civil rights attorney, has become well known for representing victims of police violence and calling for racial justice, especially in the aftermath of George Floyd's death. The Lacks family joined him Tuesday near Baltimore's waterfront to announce the settlement and pay tribute to Lacks on what would have been her 103rd birthday. What did I say, 120-something birthday? 103rd. Child, I'm tired. The group bought balloons and a cake to celebrate. Lacks' only surviving child, Lawrence Lacks Jr., lives to see justice done. Grandson Alfred Lacks Carter Jr. said. Now 86, Lawrence Lacks was 16 when his mother died. There couldn't have been a more fitting day for her to have justice, for her family to have relief, Carter said. It was a long fight, over 70 years, and Henrietta Lacks gets her day. I know that's right. I'm happy. I'm very happy for the family. It's a great thing for them to finally get justice, because that's what they did to black families back then. And that's what still some of what is going on now. The exploitation of black people. So I'm very happy for her family, and they deserve that. A lot of them, like they said in the article, lived, in some type of poverty and didn't have medical insurance. So now they can be whole, So I'm happy. I'm very happy for them. So with that, y'all, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Click on the bell button for the uploads. And I'm very happy for the family of Henrietta Lacks. I appreciate for everything that she has given to science, has given to all of our families. I have family members that have chronic illnesses and whatnot, and I'm quite sure that we they have, and even I have benefited from what her cells have done for us. So with that, y'all, thank you so much for being here, for listening, and I will see you in the next video.
Work, work, work. To me, I can work, 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 work. See me do me dirt, 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 dirt. So me for that work, 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 work. When you walk a line, in the girl, them hurt, dirt, 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 dirt. Try me, I deserve it. Nothing to be lurking. Yeah. You make a like, now you don't like it. You know I dealt with you the nicest. Nobody touched me in the right. Nobody touched me in a crisis. I believe that all of your dreams are duration. You took my heart, all my keys, and my patience. You took my heart, I'ma see for decoration. You mistaken my love, I brought for you for foundation. All that